This is Making Waves, a series of podcasts celebrating and commemorating 25 years of Wave Community Bank.
Hello and welcome back to another of the episodes of Making Waves, our series of podcasts celebrating and commemorating 25 years of Wave Community Bank. With me on this podcast is Tracy. Now, Tracy has a slightly different role to other people within the organisation. Tracy, can you tell me about your role within Wave Community Bank and how it kind of differs from anything else?
Hi, Phil. Yeah, so my role came about as originally just a link with the University Sussex Hospitals Trust, providing loans and savings for staff members through payroll. But it went on from there, and they wanted a link to help their staff that are struggling financially. So they brought me in as part of the crisis fund that the trust offer for staff, as shopping vouchers or a lump sum grant of up to £500 for staff who are struggling, who've got their fridge broken or something like that, and they can't afford the one-off payment. And so I have a chat with these people and see if there's something long-term that I can do to help them get out of any situation they're in financially, or just to help them cope with the cost of living crisis. So that's how it all sort of started, really.
So what kind of brought about the change from this sort of initial role of you being sort of budget and money managing with them to now being this all-encompassing role that you've got now? How did that kind of change occur?
So it was sort of a natural progression, really, because of my history as a financial advisor. I'd sort of given advice on things, all kinds of aspects of financial services in the past. And as I was chatting to staff, inevitably, when you talk about money, there's all kinds of other things that come into the conversation. And specifically with like the pension scheme in the NHS, which is not easy to understand. Due to my previous experience, I was able to sort of chat through and give them information on the pension scheme, help them to understand where they were. And as word got round, my role just sort of grew and grew to what it's become now. So I now do lots of information and guidance for staff on all aspects of finance.
So because you're known within that trust as Money Tracy now, aren't you? What does your role as Money Tracy bring to the trust itself? We know what it brings to the individuals, but in terms of what does it bring to the trust?
So I now provide, the staff have access to training sessions on the pension, but I sort of convert that into easy to understand. So I help the trust and I help managers with the pension forms. I go through anything like that. I deal with staff that are off sick and things like that. So I've actually sort of helped a lot of staff stay in the role, where affordability would mean that actually when they came to me, they were debating leaving the NHS and taking a role in the private sector to earn more. But with my support, I've helped them return to work from sick. I've stopped them leaving, and just, sort of save the trust money in that respect.
So do you think that your role can be replicated or even needs to be replicated in other NHS trusts?
I think definitely, with the way the market is at the moment and the cost of living and everything else, I think the money that it saves, the amount of people that I've helped over the last year or year and a half, it absolutely should be a nationwide thing. The financial education for staff at various levels is not there. The support's not there. And having someone like me who can go in and talk to people day to day, just helping them with queries, actually saves money on sickness, saves money on retention, saves managers money and time on what they're doing. So, I'd say it's an essential, really.
So what kind of keeps you coming back to the role day in, day out? Because you obviously, when people come and talk to you about money concerns, money worries, etc., invariably, and you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, invariably they'll tell you about other things that are not working out for them in their life. What keeps you coming back to that role? Because that must be pretty stressful for you to hear and go through stuff like that with them.
So, yeah, I mean, it can be, as you say, absolutely. If people come to you with money worries, there inevitably is some other link there as well, whether there's some kind of abuse or just difficulties mentally, people struggling, physical. And the fact that I can help them, I've helped people, like I say, return to work from sickness. I've recently helped a couple of staff members escape from domestic violence and be able to maintain their role where they work, help them find accommodation. And it's doing things like that, seeing the journey where people go from being in trouble to actually being able to sort themselves out, which sometimes is just a case of sitting down and running through so that they understand how to do a budget. And the other extreme, like I say, is helping people escape domestic violence, find some accommodation and be able to come back to work. I mean, you can't get much more satisfaction than that, really. I'm very lucky to do what I do.
Where can you be found? I know your trust it has 4 different sites.
So it has 4 acute sites. So I'm in Brighton at the Royal Sussex on a Monday. Tuesday, I tend to be in Worthing. Wednesday, I go across to St Richard's. Thursday, I'm in Princess Royal. But I quite often spend half a day at our Southlands Hospital, and then I will go to the other sites because there are 8 or 9 different sites in total, and I'll go to those as I'm needed. So I'm always sort of floating around, really. Everyone can find me, and most people now know who I am. So,
well, Money Tracy, thank you for joining us on this podcast. And I think from everybody involved in that trust and from us as well, thank you for the great work that you do.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
Making Waves is produced by and on behalf of Wave Community Bank. For more details, visit our website on www.wavecb.org.uk.